Good evening. Welcome to RFD-TV Live. Tonight it's AGROTAIN Live. I'm News Director Mark Oppel. Thanks for joining us tonight. We talk about the distinct connection, the connection between nitrogen efficiency and that old erratic friend of ours called the weather. Indeed, the weather is part of our topic tonight. And with us to discuss these two, the relationship between nitrogen management on your farm and as you plan for the new season and planning for weather, we have a panelist who works with producers to help them with their nitrogen efficiency, and a panelist who works with agribusiness firms to better understand and manage weather. Let's introduce our panel. First, welcome to the program, Blake Gray. Blake is with Koch Agronomic Services. He's their regional manager, and again, working with lots of producers on their nitrogen stabilization program. Blake, welcome to our program at RFD-TV.
Thank you very much for having us. Yes, sir.
Hey, before we get started, I want to learn a little bit more about you, and you told me you grew up in northern Arkansas.
Yes, sir, I did. I grew up in the northeast corner of Arkansas there on a family rice and soybean farm. Attended Arkansas State University, where I got an agronomy degree with an emphasis in plant science with a minor in ag business. After college, I went on to work in the precision ag field and have now was hired by AGROTAIN, which is now Koch Agronomic Services. I've been here for this will be my third season in the field with them.
Yeah.
And I work the North Delta of Arkansas and Southeast Missouri.
We're going to learn about those areas and a whole lot more, but specifically going on in your area. And I know from our conversations earlier today, weather certainly is a main factor in your area as it is around the country. And that leads us to our second panelist who's joining tonight in studio is Jed Lafferty. He's Managing Director of Life Sciences with Planalytics, Business Weather Intelligence. Jed, welcome to RFD-TV.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Before we get into Planalytics, your background, you're from the East.
I'm from the East. I studied agriculture at the University of Delaware and have been involved in some aspect of agribusiness my entire career. Right. That's over 30 years now.
And you've been with Planalytics?
I joined Planalytics about 6 years ago to help businesses in agriculture understand that weather isn't always a problem. It can be an opportunity as well.
Well, we learned that a lot of things from last. We don't want to go through a year like 2011 again. I don't think I can speak for a lot of producers out there, but you do learn from that. Talk about the company, the services you provide, and the customers that you work with. By the way, you are not a meteorologist.
That's
we want to make that
That's
clear
correct.
tonight because we may get a lot of weather questions. But talk about the company, if you would.
Well, Planalytics has been around for about 16 years. We're based just outside Philadelphia. We also have an office in London, England. We have about 200 clients operating in 80 countries, and we focus not so much on weather as forecasters and meteorologists alone, although about a third of our 60 employees are meteorologists. We focus on how weather affects our clients' bottom lines. That includes producers, it includes companies like AGROTAIN and Koch Industries, but it also includes a lot of other companies that people don't typically think of. People in the consumer product goods area, retailers, apparel manufacturers, as well as folks that are in the seed, chemicals, fertilizer, crop protection business that I've come from.
Now, for example, if they're a company that's ordering a lot of apparel, winter coats, for example, or jackets, or somebody that orders snow shovels or the ice pellets, things like that, you're working with them on a longer-term basis to kind of look at trends over the long term and making some projections.
We use consumer behavior information. Who bought what, when, in what store, and what was the weather on that date when that transaction took place. And from that, we can overlay years of historic weather data to develop a model that gives us an indication of what future demand will be for that particular product.
You're not a meteorologist, but later on we are going to talk to you about 2012, and you come prepared to share with our viewers what at least Planalytics is seeing here early on in this season. So
that's correct.
Good to have you with us. And let's go back to you, Blake, and because we want to before we get to the forecast, we want to go back to November. We had Dr. Fred Below on with us, and the 7 wonders of the corn yield world. The top 2 things there were weather and nitrogen stabilization. Yes, and so and AGROTAIN was a very important part of that for the University of Illinois, all that research.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've actually brought a clip to show and share with everyone here. And what he shows is that weather and nitrogen are right there together, nitrogen being the second factor. And in this video, you'll see how he compares the loss there.
All right, so let's take a look. This is Dr. Fred Below, University of Illinois, and working with the folks at AGROTAIN, talking about the top 2 of the 7 wonders of the corn yield world, weather and nitrogen.
Number two, my personal favorite, worked most of my career on it, is nitrogen. Has almost the same value, a 70 bushel value if used exactly correctly, almost the same value as weather. So weather and nitrogen combined account for more than half the crop yield. Now here's a little nuance to the 7-wonder concept. These wonders interact with each other, and as a rough rule, the higher you are on the wonder list, the more control you exert over those wonders below you. And every single thing about the use of nitrogen is influenced by the weather. Not only the ability to apply it, but whether the items have lost or available and how well the crop can use it. And there are numerous examples of weather-nitrogen interaction.